What's up, Airsofters? My name is Lane, and today I have with me
E-House from Gun Gamers.
And today we're going to be talking about our predictions for the 2018 year of Airsoft. We did this video together last year, and today we're not only going to be taking a look at what is going to be coming for Airsoft next year, but I also want to take a look back at our predictions from last year and see, well, how right we got, and see if we can hopefully get some things right again next year. So Eric, why don't you tell them a little bit about your guys' channel over at Gun Gamers?
Basically, we're kind of just a bunch of idiots who have a bunch of fun and make crazy videos. It's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So I will leave Eric's channel's information not only in the description below, but I will also have a piece in our end card where you can check it out. So let's talk about next year, because there's been a lot of exciting releases in Airsoft this year. We've had the Vector, the Jag Scattergun, and there are some things that I really didn't see, and I think the Scattergun is one of them.
The Scattergun was kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I did not expect shotguns to become popular. The TMs came out, and as someone who's used the TM before, I didn't expect anyone to knock it off. I'm not saying that it's a bad system, but they were pretty cheap for what they were, so I really didn't see...
And they work really well.
Yeah, for some reason I didn't expect someone to rip Tokyo Marui's design off, because no one's done that before. Yeah, but lo and behold, like I remember
history repeated itself.
Yeah, last year, like the weekend after we filmed the video last year, Classic Army released their shotguns, and I thought that was going to be it, and those were actually built pretty well, but then, bam, scatterguns, and now you have a gas shotgun, which I believe is a direct TM ripoff, right?
Yeah, direct TM.
Yeah, for under $200. CQB Russian actually just released his caps for them last week, so now instead of buying the Tokyo Marui 870 and then the Angry Gun buffer tube, you can get them all in one package for under $200, which is great for us as consumers. And you using one, I mean, they work pretty well.
They work okay. They've got some issues. Now, the biggest issue is quality control. Some of them work great, some of them not as much.
Hey, that's all of Jag.
Yeah, pretty much. So the issue with them is quality control. When they work great.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the mechanism for the pump kind of likes to lock up on a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then the O-rings for some of the gas seals, sometimes you get good ones, sometimes you get bad ones.
Yeah. They
shoot great when they work, and if you get a good one, it's probably going to be fine, but just, that's the thing, is the quality control.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's a problem with a lot of Airsoft guns. I mean, like, even the Crytek's, you have the lower receivers, which are snapping.
Yeah.
There are just tons of guns that are great.
I had a buddy with a VFC Avalon who had some kind of issue with his tappet plate kept on breaking. He was just running it stock, and the tappet plate kept on snapping. Elite Force sent him a new one, and it was just fine. Yeah. So even premium high-end guns are not without certain faults sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, even on the Crytek Vector, which is like the gun this year, their stocks break on some of them. Some people are receiving them and their stocks just snapped right in half out of the box. And
yeah,
I mean,
so
I'd imagine Chris and Crytek have a pretty good return because they've been a pretty good company. But
from what I understand, they're generally taking care of people with that issue. But bear in mind, I'm taking this from like the owners group from what I've seen. So you're always going to get the best image there.
Something that we discussed last year was, we did the video before the VFC Avalons came out.
Yes.
I think that's been an interesting year.
The Avalons have seemed to have gotten a lot of market share.
Yeah,
which is good.
They picked up fast, which is cool because it means there's more competition. Yep. People are going to up their game and bring down their prices. So I don't think that VFC did as good as a job as I was expecting. I thought that they would be able to capitalize on that to compete directly with Crytek, because the Avalons are a direct competitor to Crytek.
Yeah, I think I was a little more reserved on it than you were, but I was expecting them to be a good competition. Yeah. And I think that's basically what it's become, is a good stiff competition.
Yeah. And I could be wrong. Didn't they release after Christmas, which probably hurt them? Or was it?
Oh yeah, they released... When did we film our review of it? I think we filmed our review of it after SHOT Show. Yeah,
so like we got to see a pre-production model at Faded Giant last year.
Yep, and then I get to see him again at SHOT Show. Yeah. And I mean, they felt nice the whole time, just until I actually got to play with it.
I think they really missed that mark, because if they released in October, that would have given VFC and Elite Force time.
The Christmas season.
Yeah, they would have gotten on that holiday season, which is obviously huge. It's the most busiest time for retail and online sales. But as well, they would have gotten the people doing reviews like Jet and Airsoftology, and I think that would have really helped them out. I mean, they're still doing fantastic, and you still see them, and they're good, high-quality airsoft guns. I mean, VFC makes a good airsoft gun. I just think that their timing was a little off, and if they were able to release it sooner, or maybe even delay it a little bit and release it for the summer season.
Well, they did. I think the thing is, release timing.
Yeah.
I think if they had released it earlier, it might have had more time to pick up steam than from now. But I think they're still picking up steam at a good pace.
Yeah.
And the other thing to bear in mind is, I'm glad they didn't rush it.
Yeah.
Because when you rush development of a complex mechanical device, you get a disaster.
Yeah. And
I mean, look at the. Oh my God! Look at a lot of the stuff that has been pumped out by Chinese companies and KWA. Companies that don't really take their time when they're putting a product out, and then they end up putting out a half-baked product that's just not very good.
Yeah.
So I am glad they took the time with it. I think it's a better product for it. I do think it's a great gun, and I think we were right that would be a good stiff competition.
Yeah. Now it's going to be interesting how that prolongs in the 2018, because
I think Classic Army is going to try to step up more.
Yeah. I think Classic Army's really been trying to step up their game. I mean, they've got the SR25 that they've released that's gotten pretty good feedback. They've got the micro gun, which isn't it's in a class of its own.
The micro gun is ridiculous. One of our friends owns it, and he's going to do a review on our channel soon.
They've got the Stoner LMG, even though those are distributed here in the U.S. by Z-Shot, it might be different.
Those have a ton of market share.
Yeah,
I feel like. Well, as far as high-end LMGs go.
Yeah, and because I think they're different, they're lighter, they're pretty easy to get, and Classic Army makes a pretty good product. I think their price is a little high compared to A&K, but I think that money.
But I think the quality.
Yeah, I think that
generally.
money is going to be worth it, and especially because I hear so many problems with the A&K. I do think Classic Army is going to do better this year because they are working with more people, and they're one of those companies. They're like TM. You never hear from them, and now we're starting to get more marketing from them.
I actually I was at the Classic Army event at Buffalo Battleground, and I went there and I was at the bar, and I'd had a few drinks, and I started grilling the Classic Army guy because what happened was I'm there and I'm talking to this guy, and I say, listen, I'm going to be real with you. There's a reason Classic Army fell into obscurity for a while. He just kind of chuckles. He's like, yeah, I think there is. And I said, yeah, it was quality control.
That nervous chuckle.
So what's Classic Army USA? Because that's the thing. They did open Classic Army USA.
Yeah.
So what's Classic Army USA doing to address that? And apparently they're starting to do quality control, or are doing quality control stateside. So hopefully Classic Army USA, ball's in your court. Hopefully they will do a good job with that, because that was a huge issue with the old Classic Armies, was the quality control was non-existent. You felt like you got more lemons than good guns.
Yeah, and hey, maybe that's just their stock performance, but yeah, I think that's something that has to happen in Airsoft entirely, is we just need more quality control, more quality guns coming out, but that always is an issue. I mean, you could make a really good Airsoft gun, but at the end of the day, you got to make your money back and profit off of it.
You know what I saw was a classic example? That was the Tippmann that I was sent to review.
Yeah.
I was sent a Tippmann to review. A lot of people love theirs. The one I got was a total lemon.
Yeah, and
I have to review it as it is and as I got it, and I'm sorry, it just wasn't. The one I got was not good.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is quality control can make or break a customer's impression of your product, especially if that impression is that, oh my God, this thing shoots like shit.
I think in the next year, either Tippmann's going to really up their game and make a better product.
Tippmann is making a big marketing push.
Yeah.
They're making a big push, trying to get more big faces and big personalities using their product. They're trying to really become one of the bigger sponsors of media and of events. They're starting to do that a lot more, like they're going to the Amped Swap meet.
Yeah.
That's this weekend, actually, today. But the thing is, I think that they need to button up their quality control. So I'm really hoping, I don't know if I'm going to hold my breath on it, I'm hoping that Tippmann will button up their quality control.
Yeah.
And then if they did that, I think they would have more of a place in the market. But as it stands right now, they're not as realistic as GBBs, and they don't perform as well as HPA, and their quality control is really bad.
And I mean, like when they first came out, I know there are a lot of people who love their Tippmann, but I had a few friends who bought them when they first came out. Every single one shot completely differently. And I think in the next year, Tippmann's either going to really up their game and do good, or they're going to fall flat on their face.
Yeah, they need to do something.
Yeah, they are a neat system, and they do have that uniqueness going for them, because you can either run it with a line, or you can run it with their little CO2 mags. I think, I could be wrong about this, I think they're also developing a CO2 stock.
But yeah, Polar Star has a CO2 stock.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tippmann is doing one. Maybe for their electro-pneumatic, I think they were still working on one of those.
Yeah, so I think, again, Tippmann's either going to do really well or really bad. But why don't we talk about our predictions from last year? And the prediction that I personally made, it was, what company do you think is going to do best next year?
I think yours was Wolverine.
I said Wolverine, and I cannot argue that I was very wrong about that.
No, Wolverine did well this year.
I think Wolverine, like I said it last year, I said they're going to button up their Inferno and their Hydra. They have Gen 2 units out for both of them right now. They're collaborating with more people.
The Wraith stock is huge.
The Wraith stock is really cool, and I think that...
And that's making a lot of money for them.
I think Polar Star saw that, and they're like, why haven't we made this already?
Yeah.
And they're coming out with one, and I think...
More competition.
But I think that it's interesting to see because Polar Star has always been the name brand. If you have an HPA unit, the first thing you think of is Polar Star. But I think Polar Star is playing catch-up. And I think they're going to continue to play catch-up for the next few years because for their units, like their actual HPA unit, they haven't done much. I mean, they released the Jack, which was like an affordable one, but Wolverine's main unit, the Inferno Gen 2, isn't that expensive. I think it's like $240 for their like dedicated flagship HPA product. And then if you're running something with an offset nozzle, they have the Hydra front ends that you can throw on them. They have the Wraith stock, they have the Quake stock, so if you want an HPA gun with recoil. I can't say that I really missed the mark at all with Wolverine.
Do you know what company surprised me though?
What's that?
Redline.
Yes, Redline's done a lot in the last year. And I mean, they released their own HPA unit.
Yep. The N7 Milsim is huge.
That's cool. And that's something I've been thinking about when my Crytek dies, doing that with a Wraith stock. But yeah, Redline, completely caught me off guard. I
think they caught a lot of people off guard to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, all they made was regulators at the time.
And the air stock, which was not hugely popular. But now they have the Gen 2 air stock that looks like it's made some key improvements. Yeah. They've got the N7 Milsim, which is the first all-mechanical HPA unit that I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge because there are guys out there that don't want to worry about water or they don't want to have a line. The N7's for you as long as you don't like full auto, like if you're just a semi-player. So if you are at an event that limits riflemen, like American Milsim, that's perfect. And then you could run that off the line, I believe. Or you could just run it off.
Yeah, you can run it off a line, or you can run off a Wraith.
Yeah, the Wraith stock, which it's cool that those are cross-compatible, considering that they're from different companies. But I did not expect Redline at all.
No, they did a great job this year.
So who do you think is going to do the best job next year?
That's tough. I mean, there's some stiff competition out there right now.
Yeah.
I would say the company that is making a big push that has a lot of room to grow is Classic Army.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do the best because, again, they're recovering from a bit of a spotty reputation with their quality control. If I had to guess who's going to do the best, I mean, Elite Force killed it last year.
I think...
With the Smoke Wagon, the Hater sold a lot. I don't like the Hater at all. I'm a hater, but it sold a lot.
Yeah, it did really, really well, and that's kind of a gimmick gun.
And now they've got a CO2 USP coming out.
Yeah, they've got, the VP9 was delayed. They have an MP5 SD I'm very excited about because it's going to be made by VFC, which is really, really cool.
I'm really hoping, I don't think this will happen, but I wish, LCT as a G3 that is like right now hitting the market.
Yeah, released last month.
It would make me so happy
to see
if
those.
Umarex Elite Force decided to license those for import, and they would be so expensive, but it would be so cool.
I would pay $500 for one of them. I think that's what the LCTs are for.
I would pay like $500, $550.
I said Wolverine last year, and I think Wolverine's going to do great things this year.
They've just been on a roll.
Yeah. Well, since the time that we filmed that video, since then, I've gotten to meet Rich in person. I've gotten to talk to some of the staff from Wolverine online because they have great customer service. I think they're just going to continue to improve every year, and it'd be kind of cheating for me to say the same company 2 years in a row. So I'm going to go with Elite Force again because they...
Just because you don't want to cheat?
Yeah, just because I can't cheat, but I mean, I've worked with Elite Force pretty closely being in the Airsoft business, and they have something...
And there's a lot of good people over there,
They have something for everyone. Whether it's your first day or some large milsim, there is an Elite Force gun for you, and
they're continuing to expand that.
Yes, because they've got their next line of M4s coming out, which are in that like that middle range between brand new and really good.
Yep.
So they've got their MCRs, I believe they're calling them. They have those for like the lower end, which they're not even bad. I believe they're made by Ares. But then for like the really dedicated guys, they have the Avalon. They have, within the next year, I believe their 416 is going to be getting the same gearbox as the Avalon.
Yep. So, and then they had a photo of the 416A5 that they put up.
Yeah, that would excite people. I would love to see something. I know it will probably never happen here in America, but the Tokyo Marui Recoil Shock 416 CAG has the Remington rail on it, and I am a huge fan of the Remington rail because I have a really soft spot in my heart for 2011 Navy SEAL kits. I don't think it'll ever happen. I think that a cross between companies like that won't happen. I mean,
because who owns the Remington license right now?
I don't think anyone in Airsoft does. But that, I mean, there's very few cases where that's happened. Like you have PTS, and I mean, Knight's Armament is through Z-Shot.
Yep.
But I don't think we're ever going to see that. I wish we would, because that sounds really, really cool. But yeah, I think Elite Force and Wolverine are going to do fantastic, as long as they don't have like a major problem or anything, because I mean, they both have great customer service, they have parts support. I think both of them are going to do absolutely great this year.
Another thing that I want to bring up is something that caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
And this was kind of a bold move, you saw that Elite Force took over distribution of the Amoeba series from Z-Shot.
That's mine now.
They just ganked it.
Yeah, this is mine now.
Yeah, like, they just stole it. They just took the distribution. I mean, I would say they stole it. Like, they got the contract, but
that's still pretty, because that just adds to their line of affordable guns that they have.
Yeah, and I think you're going to start seeing a lot more of those, because another thing that plagued the Amoeba series was, again, kind of quality control and electronics quality.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, Elite Force is working with Ares to try to button that up, and look at what they did with the KWC 1911.
Yeah,
the KWC 1911, when Elite Force picked it up, was honestly not a very good gun.
Yeah, and now it's arguably the most used pistol in Airsoft, except for maybe high kappas.
And quite frankly, it's actually really fucking good.
For a $120 pistol, plus it's like, if something breaks, Elite Force has been really good in the last year.
There's all the parts for it.
Yeah, I think in the last year, Elite Force has gotten parts for the MP7, whether it's the KWA or the VFC. They've got every single part that is in the pistol, in the KWC 1911s, which if you didn't know, the Elite Force 1911 TAC
is KWC.
It is a rebranded KWC, because that's what Elite Force does. I think Elite Force has been really good about that, because that's something that Eric's talked about a lot in his videos, is that like with your FNX, you broke apart and you searched for months to find it.
Because fucking Cybergun is an Elite Force.
Yeah. Oh, while we were here,
oh god,
what do you think's going to happen between Cybergun and SIG, because they had a falling out this year?
Obviously the licensing is gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
don't think that relationship is really going to recover. Cybergun's in a bit of a rough spot right now too. If you look at like their stock, they're not doing great.
I think that something that'd be really cool to see, and I don't think we're ever going to get it unless SIG finds someone to make a new license, or they actually make their own pellet guns, like 177 cal guns.
Yeah.
And I talked about this in a video when the whole split between Cybergun and SIG began. But I think that if SIG's going to continue or expand their Airsoft products, I think they might make them themselves, because in shop where they make the real SIG rifles and handguns, they also make pellet guns side by side. Yeah. So I think it wouldn't be too hard to make them into airsofting guns. Of course, that's coming from me, who's never spent a day as an engineer for airsofting guns. But I think that'd be really interesting to see, and I think that if they were to release a P320 in Airsoft, that
would sell like hotcakes.
I think that'd sell like crazy, because you'd get all the fanboys, and as long as it doesn't fire when you drop it on the hammer, I think it'll do pretty well, and a lot of fields will think it's safe enough to use.
Well, actually, if they made it, if they wanted to make it really realistic, they should make it work.
Oh man, that's a shame. Maybe
I still like the 320. It's still a great gun, but here's another one. And these guys, I think they're going to make a big push, because they have a reputation to repair.
Yeah.
Lancer Tactical will argue to the death whether or not them needing to repair their reputation is justified.
I think that's going to be real interesting, because no one really, last year, I think it was right at SHOT Show, they found out that Lancer Tactical goggles were not ANSI rated, and that was a huge
But that's the whole thing.
fallout.
That's where the mess is, because they're like, so Lancer Tactical in their press releases have been very careful about, because they're trying to bring up issues with the way that the licensing issue was brought up, and whether or not they even needed to worry about licensing and copyright infringement or anything for their goggle designs. But I feel like a lot of their press releases, intentionally or unintentionally, have kind of danced around the issue of whether or not they actually failed the testing.
Yeah, well, I think part of it was that Lancer Tactical, didn't make them. There is not a Lancer Tactical goggle factory.
No.
Lancer, like Valken does, they bought it from a factory. So the same thing with like water bottles. I don't know if you guys can read that from here, but
these are probably purchased by a supplier, or from a supplier that Pure Life then puts the bottles into. Yeah,
so
these are like the same bottles that you see on Aquafina and Poland Spring.
So that's kind of been Lancer's defense is, well, we didn't make it, we just bought it, and the manufacturer screwed up, and we're not going through them anymore. But I think that Lancer Tactical really has a long way to go, because last year they released their simulated recoil AEG. I don't remember what it's called.
It was the one from Lonix, right?
Yes, and it didn't do that good, but I think there are some things from Lancer Tactical that, again, because they contract out to other people to make it, and then they just put the Lancer Tactical name on it, some of their products aren't bad. Like Lonex
The 240 is not bad. Their Lonex AEGs are not bad.
Lonex makes their BBs now. So there are some good Lancer Tactical.
Well, they originally, I believe Lancer Tactical used to be made by Golden Ball.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna trigger a lot of old school players. Golden Ball's not good.
Golden Ball's not good.
Crosman's BBs are OEM'd through Golden Ball. So there's your quality comparison.
Yeah, but
are they doing the BBs through Lonex now?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, Lancer Tactical I think is gonna make a big push, because they kind of got hit hard last year with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And again, whether or not that was justified, people will argue to the death for. I think I had some unkind words for them when I did the industry video where we discussed them allegedly failing the ANSI rating.
That's one thing you can't screw up on. But yeah, I think that they just have a real long way to go. They've started to improve it. They are sponsoring more events, sponsoring more players now. I think they have an uphill battle because what they screwed up on was so major, and people are going to remember that. And I think that they have a real long way to go. They could go. I hope that they make better products and they work with Lonex to make higher-end AEGs and get out of that stigma of the entry-level player. But I think it'll be interesting to see where they go next year.
Yep.
Well, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you for staying with us so long. Again, make sure to check out Eric's channel if you enjoy the discussions like this. It's a great channel, and as weird as you guys can be, it is very entertaining to work with these guys and have someone like this that is so close to me. So make sure to check out Eric's channel. Again, there will be information down in the description below as well as in the end card. But that is going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed the video of Eric and I's little ramblings and things that irk us about the airsofting industry, and this was your first time here, well, I'd love to have you consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button down below.
Do it.
And while you're at it, make sure to hit the bell icon next to it to get updates when I post new videos every Tuesday and Friday here on the channel. And while you're at it, checking out our information, make sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We have a little bit different content there, some smaller videos on Facebook, pictures of me and my Gucci gear on Instagram, and I like to go on Donald Trump-style rants on Twitter. But we don't have to talk about that today. Mentioning his name will be triggering people already. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much, and I will see you all next time.
Peace.